And this is Jeff. And time for another edition of Watership Down, badly done by you-know-who. It's been a month since I did the last one, huh? This is episode 32. Hopefully only in part one. Across the Iron Road. Now, for some people, the idea that rabbits spend a good deal of their time running away from foxes. It is true that every rabbit fears the fox and will bolt when it smells one. Shit, rabbit. Get that rabbit. Yummy. So, by many rabbits go all their lives without even seeing a fox. And probably only few actually fall victim to an enemy who smells strongly and cannot run as fast as they can. A fox trying to catch a rabbit usually creeps upwind, undercover, perhaps through a patch of woodland to the edge. Then, if it succeeds in getting close to where the rabbits are at souffle, along the bank or in the field, he said that sometimes, he lies still, watches his chance for a quick snatch. It is said that sometimes he fascinates them as the weasel does, by rolling, playing in the open, coming closer little by little, until he can make a grab. However this may be, it is certain that no fox hunts rabbits by going openly up a comb at sunset. Neither Hazel nor none of the rabbits who have been listening to Dandelion's story has ever seen a fox. Nevertheless, they knew that a fox in the open, plain to be seen, is not as dangerous as it's spotted in time. Hazel realized that he had been careless to allow anyone to gather around Dandelion and failed to post even one sentry. Where the wind there comes from the northeast and the fox coming up the comb from the west might have broken upon them without warning, but from this danger they had been saved by Fiber and Pipkin going into the open. Even in his flash of alarm as Pipkin spoke, it crossed Hazel's mind that Fiber, no doubt reluctant to advise him in front of the others, had probably seized the opportunity provided by Pipkin's spear to post himself as a sentry. Fiber's always been a lazy bastard. Hazel thought quickly. If the fox was not too close, then they had to do was to run. There was a woodland nearby, and they would vanish into it, keeping more or less together and simply continue in their way. He pushed through the buttocks. How close is it? He asked. And where's Fiber? I'm here, replied Fiber. A few yards away, he was squatting under a long bybars of a dog rose and did not turn his head as Hazel came up beside him. And the fox? He added. Hazel followed his glare. Through the rough, weed-covered ground of the Comby sloped away. Below them, a long dip bounded on the north by Caesar's Belt. The last of the setting sun shone straight up through the break in the trees. The fox was below them and some way off. Although it almost directly downhill, therefore must be able to smell them. But it did not look as though it was particularly interested in rabbits. It was trotting steadily up the comb like a dog. trailing its white-tipped brush. In color, it was sandy brown, dark legs and ears. Even though obviously not hunting, it was crafty, predatory look that made the watchers among the dog roses shiver. It passed through a patch of twistles and disappeared from view. Hazel and Fiber turned to the others. "Come on," said Hazel. "If you never seen a fox, don't bother to go and look now. Just follow me." And he was about to lead the way on the north sides of the comb, and suddenly a rabbit shouldered past him roughly aside, pushed past Fiber, and gone into the open. Hazel stopped and looked around in amazement. "Who was that?" he asked. "Bigwig," answered Fiber, staring. Together they went quickly back to the briars and once more looked into the comb. Bigwig, in full view, was lopping warily downhill, straight towards the fox. They watched him aghast. He drew near until the fox paid no attention. "Hazel," said Silver from behind, "shall I?" "No one is to move, Hazel," said Hazel quickly. "Keep still, all of you." About 30 yards distant, the fox seized the approaching rabbit. It paused for a moment and then continued to trot forward. It was almost upon him before Bigwig began to limp up the north slope of the comb towards the trees of the belt. The fox hesitated again and then followed him. What are you up to?" muttered Blackberry. "He's trying to draw it up, I suppose," replied Fiber. "But he didn't have to. We should have got away without that." "Confound fool," said Hazel. "I don't know when I've been so angry." The fox quickened his pace, and now some distance away from them, and appearing to overtake Bigwig. The sun was set, and the falling light, they could just make him out as he entered the undergrowth. He disappeared. The fox followed. After several moments, all was quiet. And then, horribly clear across the darkening almond comb, an agonizing squeal of a stricken rabbit. "Oh, friends of inland," cried Blackberry, stammering. Pipkin turned to bolt, but Hazel did not move. "Shall I go, Hazel?" asked Silver. "We can't help him now." As he spoke, Bigwig suddenly broke through the trees, running very fast. Almost before they could grasp where he was alive, he recrossed the entire upper slope of the comb in a single dash and bolted in amongst them. "Come on," said Bigwig. "Let's get out of here." What? Are you wounded?" asked Bluebell in bewilderment. "No," said Bigwig. "Never better. Let's go." "You can wait when I'm ready," said Hazel in a cold, angry tone. "You've done your best to kill yourself and act like a complete fool. Now hold your tongue and sit down." He turned, although it was rapidly becoming too dark to see in the distance, made as though were still looking across the comb. Behind him, the rabbits fidgeted nervously. Several of them began to feel a dreamlike sense of unreality. The long day above ground and the close overgrowth comb and a frightening story in which they haven't absorbed. Sudden appearance of the fox and the shock of Bigwig's explicable adventure, all of these following one after another. It had flooded their spirits and made them dull and bemused. Get them out, Hazel, whispered Fiber, before they all go thorn. Hazel turned at once. Well, no fox, he said cheerfully. It's gone and we'll have to go. For goodness sake, keep together. Because if anyone gets lost in the dark of the way, they'll never find him again. And remember, if we come upon strange rabbits, you're to attack them at once and ask questions afterward. They skirted the side of the wood. That was along the southern edge of the comb, and then, in ones and twos, they hopped along. Little by little, their spirits cleared. They found themselves in an open farmland. Indeed, both they smell and hear the farm, not far away on the evening side, and it was going to be easy, smooth, wide pastoral fields, sloping gently down and divided not by hedges, but broad, long banks, each as wide as a lane and overgrown with elder, dogwood, and spindle. Richard Adams, in his God-blasted roots and vegetables and flowers and trees and things. Damn. It was true rabbit country, reassuring after the belt and the tangled goose grass comb, and then it was covered at a great distance over the turf, halting continuously to listen, sniff, and running. And when they had covered a good distance, they halted, looked upon, and soon Hazel felt it was safe to give them a rest. As soon as he sent out Speedwell and Hawkbit as sentries. Oh boy, they could have picked two of the worst guys. That's a recipe for disaster. He led Bigwig to one side. I'm angry with you, he said. You're the one rabbit we're not going to be able to do without. And you have to go and run a silly risk like that. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't even clever. What were you up to? I'm afraid I lost my hat, Hazel, replied Bigwig. I've been strung up all day. Thinking about this business of Epifa got me really on edge. When I feel like that, I have to do something. Fight or run a risk. I thought if I could make the fox look like a fool, I wouldn't feel so worried about the other thing. What's more, it worked. And I feel a lot better. Wow. Plain Eleanor Ross, said Hazel. You duffer. You might have thrown your wife away for nothing. We all thought you had. Don't try it again. There's a good chap. Everything is going to depend upon you. But tell me, whatever happened in the trees? Why did you cry out like that? If you were all right. I didn't, said Bigwig. It was very queer. Catch that? This book was written in the 70s. Queer at the time, kind of. Okay? Queer means strange in the book. Okay? What happened? And bad too, I'm afraid. I was going to lose the humba in the trees, you see, and then come back. Well, I went to the undergrowth and just stopped limping and started to run really fast. Then suddenly I found myself face to face with a bunch of rabbits, strangers, and they coming toward me, and they were going out in the open comb. Of course, I didn't have time to get a good look at them, but they seemed to be big fellows. "Look out! Run!" I said as I dashed up to them. But all they tried to do was to stop me. One of them said, "You stay here," or something like that. He got right in my way, so I knocked him down. I had to, and then raced off. And next thing I heard was this dreadful squealing. Of course, I went even faster then. I got clear of the trees and then came back to you. So this humba got the other rabbit. It must have, after all. I led it right to them, even though I didn't mean to. I never saw what actually happened. And what became of the others? I have no idea. They must have run, I suppose. I see, said Hazel thoughtfully. Well, perhaps it's all for the best. But look here, Bigwig. No more fancy tricks until the proper time. There's too much at stake. You better stay near Silver and me. We'll keep you in good heart. At that moment, Silver came up to them. Hazel, he said, I just realized where we are, and it's a lot too close to Ephrathah. I think we ought to make off as soon as we can. Wow, Silver, man. This guy is ultimate chill, even for a rabbit. I want to go around Ephrathah. Why? Asked Hazel. Do you think you can find a way to that iron road Holly told us about? I think so, replied Silver. But we can't make too big a circle or they'll be completely exhausted. I can't say I know the way, but I can tell you the direction, all right. Well, we'll just have to take the rest, said Hazel. If we're only going to get there by early morning, we can rest on the other end. They met with no further danger, no more adventures that night, moving quietly along the edges of the fields under the dim light of the quarter moon. Half darkness was full of sounds and movement. Once Acorn put up a plover, which flew around them, calling shrilly. Whee! At length, they crossed a bank and left it behind. Soon after, somewhere near them, they heard an unceasing bubbling of a nightjar. Nightjar. That's what it says, nightjar, right there. A peaceful sound without menace, which died gradually away as they pushed on. And once they heard a corncrake calling. What the fuck is a corncrake? Is that a bird? Just say you heard a bird calling as it crept along the long grass on the path verge. It makes a sound of a human fingernail drawn down on the teeth of a comb. Oh. Okay, just say cricket or something. Dude, Jesus. But Elil, they met none, although they were continually on watch for the signs of an Ephrathah patrol. But they saw nothing but mice. viewed hedgehogs hunting for slugs in the ditches. And at last, as the first lark rose towards the light that was still far up in the sky, Silver, with his pale fur sudden dark with dew, came limping back where Hazel was encouraging Bluebell and Pipkin. You might as well pick up your spirits, Bluebell, he says. I think we're close to the Iron Road. Why would I care about my spirits? Said Bluebell. If my legs weren't too tired, the slugs are lucky they don't have legs. I think I'm going to be a slug. Well, I'm a hedgehog, said Hazel, and you better get on. You're not, replied Bluebell. You haven't enough fleas. Now, slugs, they don't have fleas either. How comforting to be a slug among the dandelions so snug, and feel the blackbird's sudden tug, said Silver. No, said Hazel. All right, Silver, we're coming. But where is the Iron Road? Holly says a steep, overgrown bank that I can't make out anything like that. No. That's a way up by Africa. Down here, it runs in a sort of comb on its own. Can you smell it? Hazel sniffed in the cool damp, and he picked up at once the unnatural smells of metal, coal, smoke, and oil. They went forward and in a very short time found themselves looking down among the bushes and overgrowth on the edge of the railway cutting. All was quiet. But as they paused on the top of the bank, a tussle pack of 6 or 7 sparrows flew down in a line and began to peck about between the sleepers. Somehow, the sight was reassuring. Are we to cross Hazel? Asked Blackberry. Yes, said Hazel. At once, put it between us and Emperor, then we'll feed. They went rather hastily down in the cutting, half expectant the fury and the thundering angel of breath to peer out of the twilight. But the silence remained unbroken, and soon they were all feeding in the meadow beyond, too tired to pay attention to concealment or anything that would ease their resting legs and nibbling at the grass. From above the larches, Kihar sailed across amongst them. A light folded his long, pale, gray wings. There goes Jeff, watch this. Mr. Hazel, what you do? You know there. We're tired out, Kihar. They got to have a rest. It's no do rag here. It's rabbit scum. Yes, but not just yet. We can't. Yeah, he's coming for you. He's close. Oh, these confounded patrols, cried Hazel. Come on, all of you. Get down in the field. Get down the field into that wood. Yes, you too, Speedwell. Unless you want your ears chewed off in Epapa. Come on, move. They trotted down the pasture of the woodland beyond and lay completely exhausted on the flat, bare ground under the fir trees. Hazel and Fiva consoled Kihar again. It's no good expecting them to go any further, Kihar, said Hazel. They've been up all night, you know, and we have to sleep here today. Did you actually see a patrol? Yeah, come along the other side iron road. Use in time you go. Well then you saved us. But look, Kihar, could you go and see where they at now? If they're gone, I'm going to tell our lot to sleep. Not that they need telling. Look at them. Kihar returned with the news that the Epperpin patrol has turned back without crossing the iron road. Then he offered to keep watch himself until evening, and Hazel, greatly relieved, at once told the rabbits to sleep. One or two already fallen asleep, lying on their sides in the open ground. Hazel wondered if we ought to wake them and tell them to get under a thicker cover. But he was thinking about it until he fell asleep himself. The day came on hot and still. Among the trees, the wood pigeons called drowsily, and from time to time, a late cockatoo stammered, whatever that means. And in the fields, nothing moved except the constant swishing tails of the cows gathering flank to flank in the shade. That is the end of episode 32. Across the Iron Road. Badly done by you-know-who. And we will get ready eventually and do the next chapter of Watership Down. Badly done by you-know-who. This is me going, damn. What an adventure. Hooah.